Today we're going to look at Labyrinth War on Terror card by card. We hope you'll join us in exploring this amazing game. This is Legendary Tactics. And Homegrown.
Jihad roots among the Britons.
Yeah, so this, what do you think of this event?
Well, I mean, you're getting a cell close to the U.S., which is kind of handy, but for 2 ops, it's a little bit rich.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess end gameplay, it's a really good teaser. If you've got the WMD in play, it's a good teaser card to like drop down, and you could really mess with the U.S. mind there a little if you do have the option for that, and depending on other cards in hand.
And it's not dependent on funding, so
you
can just place a cell, get another cell in play. I mean, probably as the U.S., this is an event I just take the ops. I let the event happen. Very likely I've got other events to worry about. It's not nice to have a cell in the UK, but I can live with it.
Yeah, and I probably would take the ops myself. I wouldn't play this event in most cases.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
Islamic Jihad Union, Uzbek Jihadists.
So this is kind of a good event. I mean, you get to place 2, and especially if you don't have any Islamist rule, this is a great card.
Any of the cards. If you don't have Islamist rule, you need as many of these cards as possible. Just to get
absolutely.
Cells together, and they go down in neighboring countries too, which is nice. So you can potentially move the other cell to either Central Asia or Afghanistan as appropriate to build up a potential major jihad, right?
Now, quite honestly, though, if I do have Islamist rule somewhere on the board, I don't know if I'm playing this event.
Yeah, it might be good to keep it in the deck if you're playing a multiple deck game. Because it's it's one that, again, the U.S. as a U.S. player, you probably just you just take it. You're like, I gotta grin and bear it with this one because I need the 2 ops, and to get to have some cells placed like that. Unless you're literally at the point of eliminating the jihadists' cells across the across the entire board. You're probably just, if there's a fair number of cells on the board, you're just like, what's another couple more?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Jemaah Islamiya,
Southeast Asian jihadists.
So I actually really like this event because Indonesia is a 3-banger.
Yes.
And so to get into there and to get 2 cells in there right away without having to like either fly them in or roll them in is really nice.
I would say this event leans towards a must play for the jihadist player.
Yeah, I mean, I think about 90% of the time I play this event.
Yeah, because the 2 ops are nice, but and as a U.S. player, depending on the game situation, unless you can mitigate it by like if the jihadist player has 15 cells down and they've got none left on the track, in which case it's awesome. I'll play this right away. Oh, sorry, you don't have any cells left.
Exactly.
But otherwise, I mean, Indonesia is one of those places that usually is one of the final,
for the jihadis,
of the jihadi wins. So I don't like to encourage any sort of activity there if I can possibly help it.
Yeah, no, I do like this event.
Yeah.
Solid.
It's a great event. But yeah, I don't know if I may let it happen. It's one of those ones that's in the middle. If I'm the US player and I do have another event I really cannot let happen, I will live with this one.
Yeah.
I won't like it.
It's
but
tolerable.
I mean,
it's a middling event because it's not gonna lose you the game.
No, but
it's potentially setting up the jihadis for a nice win.
Yeah, exactly. Kazakh Strain.
Extremists find Cold War bug.
And this is very similar to the previous one. What was it called again? HEU. So
yes.
This is
it's
one
another
of the
WMD
3
card
cards that basically give the jihadist player maybe 50-50 chance or thereabouts to get a WMD. So
and I mean probably the same as what we said before. I would play it if I had to, but I would probably The W, it's a little bit situational. Like, I mean, if the
like if Central Asia's at good governance,
no
or
way.
Yeah. I mean, if
or
it's
on the other hand, if you're at
then,
maximum prestige and I can get a WMD to drop you to 0, then worth.
Yeah, well, but this just gives you a WMD into your
and
stash,
I would
right?
still have to get the plot and still make that happen, but it's a step in that direction.
But at the cost of a cell, I mean, if Central Asia's at poor governance and there's no CTR marker, I mean, as the U.S. player, this might be something to mitigate. If I get it in my hand, I would play it, and there's no cell in Central Asia, I'd play it probably early in the turn just to make sure you don't accidentally wander into Central Asia and set up this event, because I want to get it out of my hand quick. Because I don't want to trigger it, because, again, WMD can potentially change the nature of the game.
Or lose the game.
It can lose the game, So you got to be careful with it, but in the right, and you can take it and run the risk, but I think I'd rather mitigate it in other ways if I can. Lashkar-e-Tayyiba.
Kashmir insurgency spawns jihadists.
Yes, so this is one that's blocked by the Indo-Pakistani talks.
And quite honestly, I'm looking at. I mean, it is kind of nice to get 2 cells down, but India, Pakistan is a nice one to get a cell into.
Yeah, well, India, you can just move it into Pakistan the next turn, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's just another op that you have to spend on movement, though. So
yeah, but it's fine. I mean, it's guaranteed recruitment, and especially if you're going into India and because it's untested, and you move into India and it turns out to be, say, soft on terror, while the U.S. is in hard posture. It can have a nice little extra negative effect there. So
that is true. Yeah. No, and I would probably play it for the event.
Yeah, it's not a must play, but likely you'd very strongly consider it for the event. And the nice thing is it doesn't leave play.
No, it stays in. Yeah.
So that's a recurring thing that you can enjoy again and again and again. But as the U.S. player, I'll probably take the ops. I'll live with the cell in Pakistan and India. You're probably trying to get in there anyway, and so what's another couple cells, right?
Yeah.
So
you will just disrupt the mode anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's the plan. Loose Nuke.
Extremists penetrate arsenal. Oh boy.
So now this is the same as Kazakh Strain, but this is the Russian version of that card. So it's the exact. Right. So you have HEU, which is in either. You've got Kazakh Strain, which is Central Asia, and you've got Loose Nuke in Russia. So,
and I would imagine because I don't normally have cells in Russia.
Yeah, so that's the tricky thing here. You have to set this one up really.
Yeah. And I mean, you can get a WMD is always nice to have. You don't ever want to. But
it might be worth it. Might be worth the roll if you had a guy in Central Asia or something like that. You could just spend 1 op to move him over and then play this, and 50-50 chance or whatever. Or sorry, I think Russia's at fair governance, so I think it's a 33% chance.
Yeah.
So it's less. The odds are potentially worse than the one for Central Asia, but hey, at the cost of 1 cell and 2 ops, it might be very well worth it.
Yeah, indeed, yes. Okay, so we move on to Opium.
Opium. Oh, I hate this event.
Drugs, finance, Taliban. I love this. This is a must play if you've got the. If you've got a cell and you've got Islamist.
This is one you set up to have happen.
oh yeah, right. You're playing Opium. I've actually drawn. I've used was oil spike to get this card back.
Yeah.
It's that worth.
I can undo all the good work the U.S. player has done.
And for 2 ops, so powerful.
Yeah. And I mean, even if it's not at Islamist rule, even if Afghanistan is at something else, you can play a 2-op card, move 2 cells in there, then play this card for the event. Now you got 5 cells. You're ready to go for major jihad.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's something where you can set up a nice 1-2 combination. With, and then of course if you've been decimated and you've got 14 cells on the track, but as Afghanistan is at Islamist rule, you're like, boom, I'll take all of these.
Yeah, exactly.
14 cells, and they all pile in, and you, jeez, nightmare.
So now we go from opium to pirates.
I was going to say, for opium, the U.S. will generally try and discard that event without playing it, if possible.
Oh,
the 2 ops aren't worth it.
Yeah. But then you go to pirates, which is Jihadist Skim Gulf of Aden Thievery.
Yes, it's just like that Tom Hanks movie, Captain, what's his name? Anyway, the movie with Tom Hanks where the tanker gets taken over by Somali pirates.
Oh,
and this is the card. So I find that it's really, really rare.
I was going to say this card is useless.
Yeah, I mean
in our games,
for Somalia or Yemen to be under Islamist rule, I mean, I don't know. Can you see any situation where you're building up all those cells in Somalia or Yemen to do a major jihad for one?
No, absolutely
resource?
not.
Yeah,
they're so far removed, and they're only worth 1, I believe. So it's not.
Yeah.
It's not worth the.
I mean,
the time,
maybe
the
in one of the other
the
scenarios, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
But I would say not. And
this is a total ops card, and you're letting that happen.
Yeah. Now that said, if you do happen to find yourself with Somalia under Islamist rule, this is actually a great event, just in terms of like the income, the residual income, essentially, right? Because no end of term funding drop for the Islamists.
Yeah, that's nice.
For the jihadist player, that's a big deal. Like you can build your funding up, and I have, as a U.S. player, I have to literally play cards to drag it down.
Now, does this stay in effect turn over turn?
Turn over turn, it stays. So you see where it says mark and remove. So you place the marker. As long as that marker's in force, then no end of turn funding drop, which means you get your funding to 7 or 8. That is very nice. I mean,
if there was an opportunity and I had pirates, it would have to be a very. I've never played it to that effect.
It's just tough to set up. It's a great event if you can, especially if you could get that early on in the game. I mean, it could really change. Like you would not have to plot anywhere near as often. You could focus more on just like your main goal of getting the resources
Islamist rules
under Islamist rule, because it's great. But now, that said, it's very rarely played.
I suspect that the Americans are not too worried about pirates generally.
No, it's very easy to mitigate. I mean, if you really were worried about it, you could do a regime change into that country and
then
prevent this one. Yeah. So it's not a big concern. And as I said, it's very rarely played. Yeah. So
Schengen Visas.
Yes. I think
Trip
it's
planning
powerful
made
event.
easy.
I think it's a very powerful event.
I like it. I like it, and I play it often because it's a really great opportunity to flip the world against the U.S.
Yes, absolutely. And and I mean, I don't see much need to travel within Schengen per se, because you can just spend an op and go anywhere within Schengen. So it doesn't really add a lot of value that way. But if you're moving, let's say you've just played Opium and you got 15 cells in there, and you play this one as a follow-up, it's great.
Yes.
You know, it saves you a lot of time and a lot of ops.
Yeah, exactly. And it potentially flips the world, right? So that's the part I like too.
So
it spreads you out a little bit, and especially can get you closer to the U.S.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, it's a great event. You know, it leans very much, I would say, as a must-play for the jihadists. For the American, I don't like to play this one if I can avoid it. If I really, this is kind of like I'd have to have an event that is much, much worse. I can live with it if it happens, but I don't want to play it. And it's certainly it will be my end of turn drop card if I can. But I can live with it if it happens. It's just
it's annoying.
Annoying. Yeah.
It's a nuisance. Yeah.
And then the last card of the 10, Schroeder and Chirac.
Politicians play up defiance of U.S. Oh boy.
Yeah. So basically,
now you're generally hard in our games. Your U.S. is generally hard.
Yes.
So this is usually going to play.
Let's roll.
Yeah. So you're going to lose 2 countries to soft right away, and you're going to minus prestige for two ops. That's worth it.
It's a very annoying event. It's not a game winning, kind of event, but it's annoying as
it just pushes the US further against the brink.
Yeah. This is one of those cards that can be like, how we talk about how Labyrinth seems to balance on a knife edge, and then when it begins to tilt, then it tilts hard, and it's tough for the person on the losing end of that tilt to recover. This is one of those cards. When you get the US, down, and they've got low prestige.
This is just another shovel of dirt on the coffin.
Oh yeah, it's one of those cards that can be really irritating.
And it's kind of nice because it hits you on two different fronts, right? The War on Terror and the prestige bump. So or loss. So yeah, it's good.
And it's an annoying event that many times I need the ops, and I have to live with the consequences. So, I mean, if it's the only bad card I have in my hand, I'm going to drop it. But odds are I have to play this one. The nice thing is it does leave play after use. So it's only a one-time thing. And then after that, you can move on with your life and work on repairing the damage.
Exactly.
And the damage is fixable. It's more of a temporary hit. But,
problem, yeah. No, it is. I would definitely play this for the event.
Yeah. So, and that's the next 10 cards in our card-by-card walkthrough of the base game of Labyrinth The War on Terror. Thanks so much for watching.
I'm Cax.
And I'm NATO. Please like and subscribe.
And this has been
Legendary Tactics. Thanks so much.